Hey there, this is your pal Pally, and welcome back to Git Er Raid. Warlords of Draenor beta testing heats up with some Mythic mode bosses. The Ore Eater is back to gorge on ore and your raid. This is the Oregorger Mythic in Blackrock Foundry. I've now got footage of both phases here, so if you were taking a look at my heroic guide where I didn't get much footage, you can get an idea of the Roly Maze phase. And of course, if you haven't watched my guide to this fight on heroic mode, please take a look at that first, as I'll be referring to the mechanics in the first phase there a lot. Any changes for Mythic I'll certainly be noting. As always, mechanics can change from the time a fight is beta tested to when it is actually released live. So besides the increased damage, there are actually 0 mechanic changes for phase 1 while he's doing the acid torrents, Blackrock barrage, and all that. Of course, the wretched Blackrock is just a means to move the ranged pile around. Acid Torrent is something the tanks need to take turns soaking and mitigating, just like on Heroic, hence the same positioning of the boss applies here. What is more interesting in this phase is that he still uses Blackrock Barrage, and it's an ultra-fast interrupt rotation you need to work out. It is also a rotation that can't just be 3 or 4 people like Heroic mode. He'll gain stacks of the barrage and continue to keep casting it even if he interlaces some acid torrents in there. Really, the difficulty just becomes making sure your interrupters know what order to go in and not accidentally interrupting the wrong thing. It's not a raid wipe if you miss one, but be ready for like 10 or so people to get in on this. No joke. And of course, Explosive Shard is there to make Melee's life miserable, and the Acid Maw tank dot is there to eventually force tank swaps, although you are more likely to swap for soaking acid torrents here. The real changes to this fight come in the form of Phase 2. He does the same thing where he rolls around all over the place, slamming into stuff and rolling over your raid if he catches you. You again have to DPS the crates to get him fed with ore. The real change here for Mythic is that for every time he crashes into a wall, he'll leave an unstable slag on the ground. If he rolls into that same wall again, the slag will explode and cause these flame walls to spread out in all directions. If those flame walls hit another unstable slag, it will explode that and continue to chain. Obviously, standing in this fire is a bad thing, and you'd love for none to spawn, but that's probably not possible. Again, just like heroic mode, you're going to have to figure out your strategy for killing ore crates and getting him fed quickly. The group that I was in was mostly a guild group and had many attempts in that phase and was starting to work out a nice pattern for which direction to go. But it was all of us going together. There may be a better strategy that involves splitting the group up with a tank, a few heals, and DPS spreading out to get more crates opened faster. Again, remember he gets a stacking damage buff through this phase until he eats enough ore. Once you find a pattern that works, this one will probably be one of the easiest Mythic fights to get down. I know it feels like there isn't much in here in this guide, but really that is the only big change from Mythic, so if you can get a pattern going and people grouping up to run together, you'll be back in phase 1 and doing the same normal stuff. That's it for this guide on Oregorger Mythic. Tanks swap off soaking acid torrents as you point the boss towards ranged. Heals, watch for Acid Torrent and Blackrock Barrage combos that get people low, and get ready to run and heal during Phase 2. DPS, do your best to be in the interrupt rotation for Barrage, and get those ore crates down on the run in Phase 2. Thanks for watching, and as always, please comment, like, and subscribe to the video if you found it helpful, and have a good one!